Hi students, very good morning. Today we are going to continue the lecture of the previous one. So we have learned in the previous lecture case 1. What is that? Molten electrolyte. Okay. Now in this case we are going to learn regarding the electrolysis of aqueous electrolyte. Aqueous means for an electrolyte, for any compound, you will be adding water. After that, you will be passing current so that water ions will be discharged at the respective electrodes. So now I am taking into the consideration in this first case, electrolysis of NaCl aqueous with the platinum electrode. Means platinum electrode is inert. It will not involve in the reaction. And if you go for the electrolysis of NaCl, okay, if concentration of NaCl is not mentioned, okay, dilute or concentrated is not mentioned, then we should take it as concentrated. So if I say electrolysis of aqueous NaCl with a platinum electrode, means you should consider that that is the concentrated solution, means you are having more amount of NaCl. If it is dilute, they will mention. If it is not mentioned as dilute, then you should take that as concentrated solution only. Right. Let me take, you are having aqueous NaCl, means you are having two types of compounds in this. One is NaCl. It gets dissociated when you pass electricity. It gets dissociated as Na plus as well as Cl minus. And the aqueous condition means water is also present along with NaCl. So that H2O gets dissociated as H plus and OH minus. Okay. Cation, that is cation moves towards cathode and anion moves towards anode. At anode oxidation should occur. At cathode reduction should occur. See, if you see here, you are having two cations. Okay. If you see anions, you are having two anions. So anions will move towards anode. At anode, oxidation should occur. So what I have said, first you try to write the equation for the oxidation. So anode at oxidation, so two ions will be going here. And among these two, one will be getting undergoes oxidation and the remaining will remain the same in the solution. So chlorine, 2 chlorine minus, it gets discharged as Cl2 plus 2 electrons. So this is among these two, this is called as preferential discharge. Among these two anions, whichever it is having the oxidation potential more, that will be discharged here. How you will know that chlorine or OH minus is having higher oxidation potential? Means you should be thorough with the electrochemical series. Among chloride as well as hydroxide, whichever it is having higher oxidation potential, okay, that will be discharged at the respective anode for the oxidation. If you go for the cathode, see at cathode cations will be present. Whichever is having higher reduction potential, that will be discharged here, because cathode should undergo reduction, right? Cathode should undergo reduction. Among these two, whichever it is having higher reduction potential, that will be getting discharged. Here you are having two anions. Anion should undergo oxidation. Among these two anions, this one should undergo oxidation, right? Among these two, whichever it is having higher reduction potential, that will be preferentially discharged at this electrode. Okay, getting me? So if you are having two cations, if it should undergo if you are having two cations, the cation should undergo reduction. Among these two, whichever it is having higher reduction potential, that will undergo reduction. See, among Na plus and H plus is having more reduction potential, so this undergoes reduction. Among chloride as well as hydroxide, this should undergo oxidation, right? So among these two, whichever it is having higher oxidation potential, that will be getting preferentially discharged, and the other one remain in the solution itself. Suppose in case of NaCl aqueous, okay, Na, in the whatever the thing what we have learned in the above case. So what happens to the concentration of Na? Is there any change here? No, concentration of sodium has not been changed. What happened to the chlorine concentration? Chlorine is forming as a gas. See here, chlorine, it has formed a gas, so that chlorine moves out of the container. So NaCl is getting lower in concentration. Sodium concentration is not changing, but chlorine concentration is changing. On combining both NaCl, so NaCl concentration is getting lowered. Na plus concentration is constant. And H plus is also going out. So if H plus goes out, negative logarithm of H plus ions is called as pH. So if H plus decreases, pH increases. If H plus is going outside, means it is getting decreased. So pH value will be increased. So these are the conditions what you will be concluding. Once again, I am repeating in a short way. If you are having two compounds, you will be having two cations and two anions. Two cations will be moved towards cathode. Two anions will be moving towards anode. Among those two cations, whichever it is having higher reduction potential, that will be discharged easily. Among anions, whichever it is having higher oxidation potential, that will be getting discharged easily at anode. Okay, and the remaining thing will be in the same way. So what is the net result of the entire reaction? Means sodium concentration is getting remained unchanged, but chlorine concentration is getting decreased, so that NaCl concentration is getting decreased, and H plus is moving out, so that pH of the solution increases. That is the condition. So net reaction I have written here. 2 chlorine minus 2 H plus getting converted to chlorine plus H2, and remaining Na plus has been remain in the solution and OH has been remain in the solution. So this is results in the formation of NaOH. So NaOH like this, it has left out in the container itself, and this is the process what we will be using in the Kastner-Kellner process. Means in first year you have learnt regarding the preparation of NaOH, sodium hydroxide, in inorganic. Okay, first 1 year group elements. In this way, this is the pattern how you will be. Means take water as well as salt and you subject to electrolysis, so that you can prepare NaOH. Right? Now we have learned till now the high concentration of NaCl. Now here is mentioning aqueous NaCl dilute form. Okay, dilute form means NaCl is in very lesser quantity. So same condition, NaCl gets dissociated at Na plus Cl minus H2O, same pattern. So anions moves towards anode, cation moves towards cathode. In dilute solution, SRP rule is violated. So whatever we have talked above, okay, that rule is violated. This not comes into the consideration. Only that electrochemical series is applicable for the concentrated solution. When you come to the dilute solution, that is not taken into the consideration. Experimentally it was observed. So that what happens there is, so OH minus, it liberates electron, it gets converted to OH. If one more, this OH combines with one more OH, it forms water molecule liberating nascent oxygen. Okay, this nascent oxygen combines with one more nascent oxygen, forms O2. This is the condition. Getting me? On summing up, don't sum up all these things. Generally, if you see OH plus electrons, if you cancel out all these things, you'll be getting 4 OH. Right? Here, OH with 4 electrons, 4 OH. This is the condition what we have obtained here. Okay? So don't think that here 4 OHs are not there. 1, 2, 3 you are having. This one will be cancelled out. So that don't think that here this is the condition. Yes, you will be seeing all this. OH minus 4 electrons plus 4 OH. This is a simple. OH minus liberates electrons, it forms OH. Okay, this OH combines with one more OH, forms water molecule with liberation of 2 nascent oxygens. 2 nascent oxygens combine together and they form oxygen molecules. See, this thing I have represented entire thing in a balanced way. This is the thing. This is the first equation. This is the same thing what is happening here also. See, OH minus, electrons, OH, OH. Means what I am doing to get out here 4 electrons, I am taking 4. Why I am taking 4 electrons? So that I should get 2 water molecules. Okay? 2 water molecules means I require 4 OH. See, 4 OH means 2 OH, 2 OH. I am getting 2 this one and 2 electron, 2 nascent oxygens. And 2 nascent oxygens combined together, they form O2 molecule. Okay? So on combination, entire thing you will be getting 4 OH minus gives rise to 2H2O plus O2 plus 4 electrons. That is what I have written here. 4 OH plus 4 electrons. Instead of water, I have written something. Right. Okay. If you write this one, 2H2O plus O2, that is balanced one. So this is the condition. 4 OH minus 4 electrons plus 4 OH. This 4 OH, whatever that has been liberated, it combines in the 2 pattern, forms water molecule, liberation of oxygen. Nascent oxygen, this nascent oxygen combined together and it forms oxygen molecule. This is the balanced equation. So 4 hydroxide molecules are undergoing oxidation. It is forming 2 water molecules with the liberation of 1 mole of oxygen with 4 moles of electrons liberation. See, oxidation itself, this has been happened because there is liberation of electrons. Okay. So electrolysis of water. So for electrolysis of water, we will be getting 1 mole of oxygen. Okay, and 4 moles of electron. 4 moles of electrons means it is nothing but 4 Faraday. For 1 mole of oxygen, to obtain 1 mole of oxygen, okay, see, if you subject water to electrolysis, if you want 1 mole of electron, okay, then you require 4 Faraday or 4 moles of electrons. Okay, to obtain 1 mole of oxygen from water, you require 4 moles of electrons, because you are getting 1 mole of oxygen, right, from 4 moles of electrons. So this is used in the submarines so as to produce oxygen, right? They will be having less amount of oxygen. So as to survive, they will subject water to the electrolysis, so that the oxygen, whatever that comes from that electrolysis, they will use for their survival. Most used in the submarines. Right. So we have learned with respect to the concentrated as well as diluted. So if you see with respect to cathode, we have learned dilute solution with respect to anode. Now with respect to cathode, Na plus H plus. Among these two, what happens? Whichever is having higher reduction potential, it goes there. So that 4H plus 4 electrons, it forms 2H2. So 1 mole of H2, you are getting how many? See, in previous case, you have taken 4 OH minus. This is the condition. If you take 4 water molecules, you'll be getting 4 H plus, 4 OH minus. So 4 OH minus you have taken here in this equation. You have got this one. This is the oxidation. And in the reduction, you have left out with 4 H plus. 4 H plus plus 4 electrons. It gives 2 H2, means it forms 2 moles of electrons. To get 1 mole of hydrogen, you require 2 moles of electrons. Getting me? Because you are getting how many? From 4 moles of H plus, you are getting 2 moles of H2. Means you are requiring 4 moles of electrons. 2 moles of electrons, you are getting 4 moles of electrons. For 1 mole, you require 2 moles of electrons. Clear? This is the important relation, students. This will be asked in the examination. So the question will be like this. 1 mole of H2 require how many electrons? 1 mole of O2 formation require how many electrons? 1 mole of chlorine requires how many electrons? You know that O2 formation, it requires 4 moles of electrons. H2 already we have learnt here. 1 mole of O2 requires 4 moles of electrons. And 1 mole of H2 requires 2 moles of electrons. And they may ask with respect to chlorine also. 1 mole of chlorine requires 2 moles of electrons. Right? So this is the condition for reduction and this is for the oxidation. So what happens? 4 electrons gets cancelled. So 4 OH minus plus 4H plus gives rise to 2H2 plus O2 plus 2H2O. So this is 4H2O gives rise to 2H2 plus O2 plus 2H2O. If you send this 2H2O this side, what happens? It becomes 4H2O minus 2H2O. The resultant is 2H2O in the presence of NaCl catalyst in the low concentration. Means in this condition NaCl is acting as a catalyst with the liberation of hydrogen and oxygen. If you use very little amount of NaCl, it acts as a catalyst. Okay, there will be electrolysis of water only. So what happens to the concentration of NaCl? NaCl remains constant. Okay, for chlorine I have taken, this is from the previous example, not from this one, not from the diluted one, from concentrated one I have taken. Okay, right. What happens in this dilute solution? Means the concentration of NaCl will remain constant. Okay, H plus. The concentration of NaCl remains constant. H plus. Why it is constant? No. Okay, right. You keep it aside. Concentration of NaCl. Sodium will not go out. Chlorine will not go out. So that it remains constant. But if you see hydrogen formation is occurring, right? Hydrogen is going out. So that hydrogen is reduced, pH will be increased. Okay, this is the condition. H2 plus O2, H2 is to O2 is to Cl2 is to H2O. How many moles are produced? 2 moles, 4 moles, 2 moles, 2 moles. If you go for the electrons, 2 moles of electrons, 4 moles of electrons, 2 moles of electrons and 2 moles of electrons. Right? This is the generalized equation. This is the balanced one and this is the normal thing. Okay, this is what we will be learning with respect to the dilute solution. Now, aqueous NaCl with Hg as cathode. Okay. See, you have taken concentrated NaCl. Second case is dilute NaCl. And third case is aqueous NaCl which is concentrated itself. And you have taken electrode as Hg. Right? The same way NaCl it dissociates as Na plus Cl minus, H2O forms H plus OH minus. Anode here it is taken as platinum, right? So you are having two anions, chloride as well as hydroxide. So they both will be moving towards the anode in this pattern. So that chlorine gas is liberated. Among Cl and OH minus, chlorine is liberated. Already we know that in the first case itself. With respect to cathode, mercury is present. So you are having two conditions here. Na plus as well as H plus. So H plus will be having higher reduction potential compared to the Na plus. H should be liberated. But in this case it will not liberate. Because sodium is having high affinity towards mercury. Okay, sodium is having high affinity towards mercury, so H plus will not be discharged easily because Hg is acting as an electrode. It attracts the sodium plus towards itself. So that 2 Na plus, whatever the cations you are having, because here you have got 2 electrons, so that you should balance 2 here, 2 electrons. Means if you want 2 electrons here, you should take 2 sodium plus. So 2 sodium plus 2 electrons, it forms 2 sodium. Because the sodium is having higher affinity towards mercury, it forms NaHg. Even though H plus is having higher reduction potential, it is not discharged at the cathode when you use mercury as the cathode in the presence of concentrated NaCl. And pH there is no effect. So there is no liberation of H2 gas or anything or OH minus. Okay. Next condition is aqueous NaCl with Ag electrodes. Okay, see, we have taken dilute solution, concentrated NaCl solution. Now concentrated NaCl solution with Hg as cathode. Another condition is aqueous NaCl with Ag electrodes, means silver electrodes. You have taken mercury there. Here it is concentrated only, but here you see this NaCl may be any condition. It may be molten condition, it may be aqueous, it may be dilute, or it may be concentrated. Anything. If you take anything and if you use silver electrodes, means, and in this condition you are using both the electrodes as silver only. Here also silver electrode, here also silver electrode, and you are taking NaCl, it is aqueous condition or molten or anything. So this is the condition what will be happening here. At anode, what you will be getting? So NaCl, right, you will be having aqueous, means you will be having OH minus, chlorine minus, as well as Hg. Clear? So here the anode or cathode is very active. So among these three, chloride as well as hydroxide will not involve, because at anode, if there is presence of Ag, this will be highest reactive. So that these two will not involve in the reaction, this Ag will involve in the reaction. Ag undergoes Ag plus E minus. Even though it is cathode, you will be getting cations like Na plus H plus, where Ag plus also will be present as an electrode, because we are taking both Ag electrodes only. So here also Na plus and H plus will not involve. Ag is hyperactive, so that Ag only. So whenever if you take Ag electrode in the presence of NaCl, Ag only will undergo oxidation, Ag only will undergo reduction. There is nothing to bother about water as well as the sodium chloride. So at cathode, what happens? This Ag rod gets some into the solution by disintegrating. This one again gets deposited on this one. Already you have seen in this one, in this type of formations in voltaic cells or Daniell cells, right? Electrochemical cells. What happens? This one, it undergoes disintegration, the weight will be reduced. So after a few hours, this one will be disintegrated, this comes into the solution Ag, here oxidation undergoes, here this one it forms and it undergoes reduction. So oxidation Ag undergoes to Ag plus electrons, reduction Ag plus by taking one more electron, it gets converted to Ag. This process is called as electro-refining. Okay, and this is used to get the pure metal. Getting me, students, this is used for getting the pure metal. This one you will be learning in the metallurgy. So with respect to cathode, okay, weight increases. With respect to anode, the weight decreases. So in in metallurgy, how this is used? You take these two rods of silver only. This is impure one, this is pure one. This is pure silver rod you are taking from the lab, and this one is the impure one, means Ag mixed with some other thing like sulfur, all the things. If you subject to electrolysis, what happens? From here Ag comes and it gets deposited on this one. Only Ag comes into the solution. Even though sulfur is present, it will not come into the solution. Only Ag, whatever that is present in this impure electrode, it comes into the solution. Okay, and this one, due to here reduction, it gets deposited on this one. Okay, suppose if it comes like Ag along with some impurities comes, the impurities will settle here, and the Ag plus goes in due to oxidation. So due to reduction, it gets deposited here. So this is the impure metal. If it gets with any impurity, the impurity is left out here, and the silver, pure silver, gets deposited on this. If you have still anything doubt with respect to this one, again this one is collected over, and this is made as a rod. This extra thing is made as a rod, and again it is subjected to electrolysis. So what happens? Again the pure silver comes and it gets deposited on this one. Okay, this process of regular repetition, it gets at one point you will be getting the pure silver getting deposited on the electrode, 99.99%. So, and this process, it is called as electroplating. Okay. So if you take gold one, here silver. So if you subject to something, what happens? Silver gets here. You take any steel, here gold you take. Gold gets impure gold. The gold gets deposited here, and it gets deposited on this electrode. The impurity will be left out here. So that you will be getting gold cover on this. That is what we will be doing in covering metals. Gold covering, you will be hearing, no? Those are not gold. Those are covered with gold plating, right? This is the way. This process will be used in plating, electroplating. So this process, it is called as electroplating, used in the galvanization or covering of on iron. So internally one material will be present. To cover this material on the top with any color, suppose I want to cover this pen with silver. So this one is subjected to another one, silver gets deposited on this. That is called as electroplating. Or if I want gold covering, gold will be subjected to oxidation. So in this way, this process is called as galvanization. It is used for the covering of iron, and it is majorly used for the electroplating. Okay, and it is used on the iron to prevent from the corrosion. Basically, iron will be having more strength but less resistance. If you cover that with the more life-giving substance, then it will be prevented from the corrosion. Right, students? This is for today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.